Have you ever felt like nothing makes sense anymore? That all doors have closed and the weight of life is too much to bear? I know you have. But listen closely. The miracle comes when you least expect it. In the moment when everything seems lost, when loneliness presses in and hope fades away, something happens. It's not a coincidence, it's not luck. It's the answer you've been waiting for. Someone arrives, not to offer pity but to lift you up, to see what no one else has seen in you, to piece together what life has broken. Don't ignore this moment. What you need is already on its way. You just need to be ready to receive it. You think everything is lost, don't you? That there's no way out, that no one will come to help you. I know what that feels like. Feeling alone amidst the chaos, trying to scream but having no voice left, waiting for a sign and seeing nothing. Life has this weight, this hardness, this coldness that seems endless. But listen closely. Things change at the right time. What you need won't come too soon, but it also won't arrive late. You may not realize it now, you may even doubt it. But when you least expect it, something will happen. Someone will show up, and it won't be just anyone. It will be the right person at the right time, the one who sees what others have overlooked, who understands your pain without you needing to explain it. They won't offer you just empty words or promises that are never fulfilled. They will hold your hand and remind you of who you really are. Maybe right now you're too tired to believe this. Maybe your mind is filled with voices telling you it's too late, that nothing can change anymore. But that's not true. Do you know why? Because no one can see what's just ahead while still in the midst of the storm. But when the wind calms, when the dust settles, everything makes sense. And it's precisely in that moment that what you've been waiting for arrives. But here's the truth. You need to be ready to see, because miracles happen every day, but not everyone notices. You can't close your eyes to what's coming. You can't let the pain of yesterday stop you from accepting what's coming today. This encounter, this change, this turnaround, it's all already in motion. What you need is not to understand how it's going to happen. You just need to believe that it will. But you resist, don't you? Part of you wants to believe, but another part, that part is worn out, tired of false hopes, tired of waiting for something that never comes. You look around and see the same scenery, the same pains, the same problems, and then that voice in your head says, nothing is going to change, but that's not true. Changes don't start from the outside, they start from within. The miracle doesn't arrive like a flash of light, nor like thunder that shakes everything. It comes in the form of an opportunity that once seemed impossible, a look that sees beyond the surface, a door that was once locked and suddenly swings open. But what about you? Will you recognize it when it happens? Or will you remain stuck in fear, doubt, and the belief that nothing else can go right? Because that's the hardest part, accepting that something new can emerge, even after so many falls. Your eyes have grown accustomed to the darkness. Your heart has closed off to avoid more suffering. You protect yourself, avoid believing, avoid feeling, avoid having expectations. But what you don't realize is that by protecting yourself, you also prevent yourself from receiving. The miracle might be knocking at your door right now and you don't even see it. You know why? Because it doesn't come wrapped the way you expect. It may come through a stranger crossing your path. It might come in the form of a new chance, an unexpected conversation, a reunion, or a sudden change that at first seems frightening, but that's what life does. It doesn't give you explanations before acting. It surprises you. And when that happens, and it will happen, you will have to choose. Will you open your eyes and accept it, or will you continue believing that it's too late for you? What you do now defines what will happen next. So tell me, are you ready to embrace what's coming? I know the doubt is still there. I know that deep down you wonder if all of this is just empty words. But listen closely. There's something much bigger in motion. Something you don't quite understand yet. But it's about to change everything. Because that's how it works. The unexpected arrives without warning, without asking for permission, without giving you time to prepare. You won't get a heads up. You won't receive a clear sign saying, "It's now, get ready." It will happen in the middle of your ordinary day, while you walk aimlessly, while you think about giving up, while you believe you're alone. And then everything changes. But for that to happen, You need to be willing to step out of the place you've put yourself in. The problem isn't that things don't change. The problem is that you've become accustomed to the pain. You've gotten so used to it that now it feels like your only reality. But it's not. What you need already exists. It's moving in your direction. But what about you? Are you ready to accept? To receive? To step beyond this exhaustion that has paralyzed you? If you keep living the same way, thinking the same way, stuck in the past and the pains that shaped you, then even if a miracle comes, you won't notice it. You have to open your eyes. You have to be ready to recognize what comes to save you. And when that happens, you'll have two options. Hold on to what's new or stay trapped in what no longer makes sense. That choice is yours alone to make. So what will it be? You can ignore this. You can pretend you didn't hear it. You can keep telling yourself you've tried everything, that you've waited too long, that you can't take any more disappointment. But do you know what happens when you choose not to believe? Nothing. Everything remains the same. Time passes, days repeat, and pain becomes a shadow that follows you. You get used to less than you deserve. You cling to a suffering that should have already ended. But it doesn't have to be this way. Your miracle depends on no one but you. It's already been laid on your path. But if you don't move, if you don't allow something new to happen, it will go unnoticed. Have you noticed how often what you need the most doesn't arrive in the way you expected? Because the issue isn't a lack of opportunities, it's your narrow view of what could be different. So what will you do when that moment arrives? Because it will come. Maybe it's a conversation that changes everything. Perhaps someone enters your life and shows you a path you hadn't seen before. Maybe something that seemed like a problem is deep down the turning point you needed. But you need to be alert. If you keep looking back at everything that has gone wrong, at everything that has hurt you, you won't see what's right in front of you. If you continue to cling to fear, to exhaustion, to the idea that nothing can change anymore, you will be the one preventing your miracle from happening. Because what's coming is greater than everything that's behind you. But only those willing to see will receive. So tell me, are you ready for what's next? If you've made it this far, it's because something within you knows it needs to hear this. You might try to deny it. You might continue telling yourself that nothing changes, that you've suffered too much to believe. But if that were true, you wouldn't be here now. So, listen to me. That miracle you're waiting for isn't something distant. It's already moving in your direction. The time for answers is closer than you think. But there is something you need to understand. No miracle happens without transformation. You can't expect everything to change if you keep holding on to the same pains, the same excuses, and the same fears that have always held you back. If you want something new to happen, you need to make some space. You have to open yourself up to the unexpected. You need to stop hiding behind the idea that nothing is worth it anymore. Because here's the truth that no one tells you. The miracle doesn't come when you're still stuck in the past. It comes when you decide to move forward. Do you have any idea what that means? It means it's in your hands. It doesn't matter how many times you've fallen, how many losses you've faced, or how many disappointments you've piled up. None of that defines your destiny. What defines you is what you do now. If you shut yourself off, if you keep believing you're alone, that nothing can change, then life will remain the same. But if you decide to open up, if you start to see that something greater is happening, then get ready. Because when the miracle comes, it won't ask for permission. It will come to transform everything, to turn your life upside down, but in a way that, in the end, makes everything fall into place. And then when you least expect it, you'll look back and see. Every pain, every tear, every silence had a purpose. But now tell me, are you going to keep waiting for life to change on its own? Or are you finally going to allow yourself to live what's coming? And maybe right now, you are feeling something different. Something inside you is restless because deep down you know this is for you. This message didn't come by chance. These words aren't here by coincidence. You needed to hear this. But hearing isn't enough. What are you going to do with it? Because yes, the miracle is already on its way. But it won't force its way into your life. It needs space to happen. And that space is something only you can create. You need to let go of the idea that you've seen it all, that you've gone through so much suffering, that nothing can surprise you anymore. Because what's coming has nothing to do with what's been left behind. You still haven't seen everything. You haven't lived everything yet. You haven't experienced what can truly be yours. The past cannot be a prison. Fear cannot be an obstacle. What is coming is bigger than anything that has tried to hold you back before. And when that happens, and it will happen, you need to be ready. Ready to open the door. Ready to say yes. Ready to accept that things can indeed be different. Because if you keep hiding, waiting for everything to change without you changing first, you'll remain in the same place. You need to decide. Will you stay chained to the old pains, or will you take a step forward and allow yourself to live what has been prepared for you? The time is drawing near. The transformation has already begun. The miracle you didn't see coming is already around you. And now, it all depends on you. Will you keep standing still, or will you finally allow something new to happen? Because the truth is this: the miracle could be right in front of you at this very moment, and you might not even notice. Do you know why? Because you still look at life through the eyes of someone who has suffered, someone who has been betrayed, disappointed, rejected, someone who has waited so long and is tired of waiting. But listen, this is not your end. The pain that accompanies you is not your destiny. Those difficult days that seem endless are not all that life has to offer you. There is something beyond this, something bigger, something you cannot see, but which is already coming your way. And when it arrives, you need to be ready. Ready to leave behind what has hurt you. Ready to stop clinging to what no longer serves you. Ready to finally understand that what lies ahead is far greater than what you left behind. But that choice is still yours. You can keep hiding, living in the same cycle of pain and fear. Or you can decide, once and for all, that enough is enough. Enough of settling for less. Enough of thinking you don't deserve something better. Enough of accepting a life that doesn't make you happy. Because now something new is ready to happen. But only those who believe will see it, so tell me, are you ready to receive? If you've made it this far, it's because something inside you feels that you need this message. Maybe you're still struggling against it. Maybe you're still afraid to believe. But now is not the time to doubt. It's time to open yourself up to what's coming. You've spent too much time stuck in pains that shouldn't still be here. Too much time nurturing memories that only weaken you. Too much time waiting for something to change without realizing that change begins within you. But now something different is happening. You can feel it, can't you? It's that restlessness in your chest, that voice inside your mind telling you that it's not over yet, that there's still something for you, that there's still a way forward even when everything seems closed off. And that voice is right, because yes, the miracle is already happening. It's not a distant promise. It has already begun. You may not see it yet, but it's already in motion. It's already on its way. But listen closely. Don't try to understand how. The biggest mistake you can make right now is to try to predict, try to control, try to demand that things happen your way. Because what's coming is bigger than your logic can comprehend. The right time doesn't follow your rules. The right time follows a greater purpose, and that purpose is already being fulfilled. So tell me, are you going to keep resisting? Are you going to continue denying yourself the chance to live something new? Or will you finally allow yourself to be surprised? Because this is the moment, your moment. And all you need to do now is believe. Now you need to decide. Will you keep waiting for things to change on their own? Or will you accept that the miracle is already in motion? Because it is. Even if you don't see it. Even if you're still afraid. Even if your mind tries to convince you that nothing can be different. But now you know the truth. Know that nothing was in vain. That every tear had a purpose. That every closed door has brought you to this moment. That there is a greater plan at work in your life, and now the time has come to receive. Without fear, without doubt, without remaining stuck in what should have been left behind. The miracle you didn't see coming is already here. And all you need to do now is open your eyes. Now it's up to you. If this message resonated with you, please give it a like, because it helps more people find this truth. And in the comments, write, "I am ready to receive my miracle." And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe now. That way you will continue to receive messages like this, which will remind you that life can indeed surprise you. The right time has begun. Now it's your turn.